Hi, my name is Kyle. This is Access Bristol, an assistive technology incubator being hosted at the University of Bristol. This event is the very first seeds of building a community. The goal of the weekend is to bring together interesting people, local community members with disabilities, engineering, computer science, design students, industry partners, open source makers and hackers. We go to social events as people all the time. This just happens to be a social event where there's the opportunity to make a meaningful impact on somebody's life, or at least contribute to a community of people who are trying to do that. We need to distill a goal and then have people form teams and try to achieve that goal. Define a particular life activity that this person with a disability would like to achieve with more ease. Figure out who can help identify different possible ways to assist them to achieve it, and then execute. I'm not trying to engineer what people get out of it. I'm trying to engineer an opportunity to find and form the things that will enable people to achieve goals. People doing nice things for each other evolves into good stuff. The origin story of this is that I got to grow up around people who had disabilities who were thriving. And I became a bit fixated on the technologies that they were using because I am sort of technologically minded. I have a degenerative vision problem myself. My eyesight's getting worse over time. So there's a very deep personal connection here. As my own eyesight changed, I needed a lot of support and adaptation. Community with the technology is the thing that helped me get through and find ways to thrive and survive. One of the hardest things about running an event with so many different types of people, very different capabilities and expertises, they just don't know what to expect and they're scared that they're going to do something wrong. So there is a lot of complex emotional and psychological navigation. We all have different expertises, we all have different things that we can offer, we all have different things that we want to get out of the event. It sort of is what you make of it. Any community is what you make of it. Here's a ton of different people speaking about it in a bunch of different ways. Ed Summers, GitHub.
Disability has always been an essential, integral part of the human experience, and it always will be. There are approximately 1.3 billion people with disabilities in the world, and technology can be a tremendous force for inclusion. Accessibility is a property of the things that we build as humans: buildings, websites, experiences. Assistive technologies are the personalized tools that those of us with impairments use to access the world. One example is someone who has a mobility impairment may use a wheelchair or a motorized scooter. That's assistive technology. But they rely on the accessibility features of a building, such as ramps and lifts or elevators, in order to live the lives they want to live. So these two things, they come together. The funny thing about accessibility is it's always a moving target. We're continually creating new technologies, and the accessibility needs to come with it. When more people participate, it benefits everybody by definition.
Freya Shaw, Hodr engine.
Everybody is here because they're excited about this beautiful thing, which is trying to help each other. You know, accessibility is at its heart a very humanitarian kind of approach. Events like this are how we're able, I think, to advance as a society. There's such a big impact in just putting all of these minds and ideas in one room. The special thing about technology to me is that it is like an extra pair of hands.
John Thornewill, Red Knot.
What I think is exciting is that when you open up to a wider audience, the creativity that you come across is just wild. I think the critical bit is to just have everybody turn up with an open mind. I've been in technology businesses for 40 years, and generally, technology companies are quite closed off, because if we've invented something, I don't want to tell you what it is and how it works in case you go and copy it. One of the things that I notice about companies who build assistive technology is they are very open with what their technology does, what it's good at, what it's not so good at. There's nothing like putting your tech in front of somebody and they will just take a completely different angle on it.
Phil Webb, Smartbox.
Personally, as a representative of Smartbox Assistive Technologies, it's great to be involved from the point of view of seeing how we can work with others to take the products that we have further forward. Smartbox Assistive Technology provides speech-generating devices specifically, which enable people who, for whatever reason, have no speech, to participate through a device that gives them that control through, say, an eye gaze camera to create a voice.
Samuel Walker, AAC user.
Eye gaze is excellent if you know how to work with it. It opened my life to everything. I want different ways that people can contribute how to do things and talk to make it possible. I hope that I will have a job opportunity within the AAC area.
Peter Mylon, University of Sheffield.
There are a lot of students with real desire to engage in tech for good. There's a lot of unsolved challenges still out there. There are students that would really benefit from actually seeing this is having real value in changing people's lives, and I think that makes a big difference to their motivation as students.
Dominique, Vyborna, Empress VR.
I absolutely love human beings connecting and ideas connecting. We all long for connection and we all long for joy and playfulness. Really what a room like this represents is a place to bring people back to the campfire of humanity. I really enjoy events like this because I feel like there is an understanding of what it's like to be someone with a disability. I have PTSD, and I don't have to kind of hide it or be ashamed of it or be nervous about it. There's almost this immediate understanding of the struggles, but also just the life experience of it.
Alice Sheppard, Kinetic Light.
I'm a multiracial black woman with dyed red hair, and I'm sitting in a manual wheelchair. One of the things about a hackathon is it takes us out of our routine and out of our mundane thinking. Disability is a platform for innovation. What if we understand disability as something greater than a problem? In some ways, here, in a hackathon, disability is an invitation to create innovation for technology. I think design briefings can be invitations that will enable us to make interventions in our culture that will change our culture and society. You can invite any number of people, but in the calibration of the space to allow people to have the confidence to bring their ideas forward, and then the resilience for those ideas to be challenged. Something new that you never thought could happen just bubbles to the surface, and you're able to follow it for a moment.
Tony Stockman, Queen Mary University, London.
I was lucky enough to take part in the first ever Blind Football World Cup, Brazil in '98, and we talked about the technical details of that. I've got to talk to people that I wouldn't normally run across. Yesterday I had a very interesting in-depth conversation about making a nice simulation of blind football, how you render in sound an awareness of where you are, where you're facing, and where the other players are. But that was a fascinating conversation that I wouldn't normally have had. You shouldn't be afraid to air ideas, no matter how wacky or difficult you might think they are to realise. Things that I might have thought, gosh, that'll take months to program. Some of these guys can probably put it together in a week. If you think you've got an idea, but you really think, that's going to take a massive amount of effort, well, actually, come along, air the idea, talk about what your aspiration is for it, and you might be surprised.
I really love that people are meeting each other, great relationships are being made, people are defining really concrete partnerships and projects. We've now done this, it's been successful. We have gotten multiple people into the room, lots of relationships were formed. Somebody came over and they said, I came really excited to tell people about what I knew how to do, and I've been really amazed at how much I've learned. And that to me distilled part of the complications. You can't give in some circumstances until you understand the experience of the person that you're trying to work with. I have been embraced by the local Bristolian community, University of Bristol, with a long-term path of building an ecosystem that can support innovation and make this a hub of innovation for assistive technologies. I want this to be an ongoing connection, a recurring event, and hopefully we find ways to share that out with the world. This event wouldn't be possible without our sponsors: GitHub, Smartbox, CodeRabbit, University of Bristol, and the School of Computer Science. And also a big thanks to our partners: SenMag Robotic, Hodr, Nought, Empress VR, and Microsoft Inclusive Tech Lab. This film featured contributions from Ed Summers, Freya Shaw, John Thornewill, Phil Webb, Samuel Walker, Peter Mylon, Dominique Vyborna, Alice Sheppard, Tony Stockman, and myself, Kyle Keane.